Do. Call to order first, or
Bring us to order, 6:01, Monday, February 10th. All trustees besides BJ, he'll be here shortly. Anybody want to rise and join me to pledge allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
so. This is the small community resiliency program. I don't know what it's called, but
Yeah, I see
it's
that.
a partially forgivable loan for construction at the wastewater facility. That we talked about and you guys approved to do like 1.6 something million. Completely interest and admin fee free and whatever. It's basically meant to be a gap coverage for FEMA reimbursed. And basically what FEMA doesn't reimburse, they'll forgive. So it's a negative interest loan if you look at it that way.
True, yep.
Probably sign the top.
It's all this, yep. And just, I said, there's multiple places.
Okay, multiple.
Yeah, there's multiple places. There's at least 2 places for the board, another place for the chair, and a whole bunch for Rosemary. But you only signed one place so far?
I didn't sign anything yet.
Okay.
I left the.
Oh, that's what it goes.
You can
Yep,
sign
yep.
that one.
And now I'll start.
Oh, it's not that bad. Yeah, there are a lot of people.
Not that I ever was.
Sad.
Oh, are you?
I don't
So
see
right, one page front, one page up.
only one signature on this
There
one.
we go. Try to keep those all in that red folder if we can.
He's just got one. So
Right.
he's got, just in case.
I'm just.
Yep, I'm just trying to make.
I'll lose track of my stuff. This is a real, these guys get,
This is from the folder.
yeah, these guys get real,
This is from the folder.
yes,
Okay.
They get picky if it's not.
they do. They get very picky.
I bet, yeah.
All right, you want to just check it after everybody goes through,
Absolutely.
make sure everything's signed and. Okay, I'd be looking for a motion to approve minutes,
Motion to approve it.
January 13th, 2025.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Members of the public. Are we doing Linda now, or was that?
You can, if
I'm gonna stay.
you want to stay,
I'm
okay.
gonna stay anyways.
All right.
You missed it.
However,
It's good to
yes.
figure.
That.
It's good to figure.
Well, and someone.
You want to do you want to push the sculptor up? You guys want,
Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you guys want to be moved to the front of the line? Okay, want to do that?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go.
Michael. Good to meet you.
He's a sculpturist, and these are his sketches on here. We just wanted to ask the board if they would like us to go after a grant to try to get Michael's sculptures on our pedestals. I just put like the locations of where the pedestals are, just for reference. And, the estimated cost for materials and labor is $5,000 for the 4 sculptures. And that's covering the steel and gas and grinding mills and, paying for Michael's time. We would be seeking a Vermont Arts Council project grant together with the beautification committee. And if we don't get that grant, we just try for another or try to figure it out down the road. Yeah. And this would help to get more, just like the idea of like seeing sculptures on there, get us more artists down the road for a different interest to put work there. Yeah.
So you're looking at like rust art ones, like the other one? So over
Look through
steel,
every
these are
one.
rust,
These are painted.
Just,
painted?
Yeah, so the idea is sort of like growth, right? And like, so the pedestals that you have they're kind of small, and so the base can't be very big, so it's not to be something huge. And I used to run a sculpture garden in Mississippi, and we started off really small, and it made this huge impact in our town. I used to live in Johnson. We were unfortunately kicked out because the building got sold and we had to find a new place to live, but I still really love Johnson and like the art community here, and you know, when it was devastated by the floods, you know, it's just heartbreaking. And so the idea is sort of like growth, and so I don't even know really where I'm donating a large scale sculpture to the park for a couple of years. It's currently at the Highland Center for the Arts. It's a large flower. And I thought that, you know, with these 4 other pedestals available, it might be fun to sort of have like this unified theme of sculptures in the town of growth. Some of them are simple, so like the 2 in the middle at the top row.
Sprouts.
Sort of sprouts, yeah, exactly, sort of sprouts, and sort of putting those, I thought like that S-curve one would work, right? Outside of the S-curve, one closest to the curves, as you come around there, you see this sort of sprout, sort of mimicking what you just drove through. And then you sort of see the next sprout, you know, it's got a little more of a curl to it, and you see sort of fully formed flowers, all with, you know, a small base that sort of, you know, maximizes the space that you can, you know, view it on those small pedestals and where they're located next to the road. And so I just thought that would be a really fun idea. And I think that these things really make a really positive impact on the town. I think that it's a really good visual sign of like this growth, this renewal that Johnson's, you know, going through.
Yep, I believe all the trustees were all for doing something with this. My questions are pretty simple. Paint related, so you're gonna paint it. Who's to upkeep it? Are you gonna upkeep them?
So the whole thing of this would be $5,000 for a 2-year loan, and that was so again the sculpture garden that I used to run. It was really great because it's sort of low cost. You don't have to buy these sculptures. You know, the sculptures are very normally I would charge even $5,000 to $8,000 per sculpture if I was going to sell it. But here, you know, you're sort of getting 5 sculptures, 1 donated and 4, you know, for $5,000 that are there for 2 years, and then again, hopefully another sculptor can come in and sort of the town gets sort of like this sort of new makeover for a pretty low cost, you know, sort of a rental basically. And so the paint that I use is an outdoor graded paint. I used it for on sculptures. The one in, I guess, the Highland Center has been out for 2 years and it still looks, you know, nice. I would be in charge of doing any touch-ups and things if there was any issue with the paint, obviously. But I don't think it would be a problem in 2 years. Normally, I'm gonna take it back and then repaint it, and then I'd try to market it somewhere else.
Yep, I was just like the one that's over there by Pearl Street's been there for 14 years,
Something like that.
13 years, so we just wanted to make sure that if it was gonna stay a long period of time, that there was gonna be a maintenance plan, whether the beautification committee was gonna take it up.
Maintenance is always a big issue.
So can you talk to the artist that has the sculpture there right now?
I did, and yeah, actually, the rust was part of the design and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I asked if it was a rust art.
No, I make
Something
a lot of
else.
outdoor sculpture, and I actually let them rust too, because that's what happens the moment you put it outside. Yeah.
But I was just asking because we were planning on putting one there, but I don't know if that one able to come down at all, or.
I don't know, I'm sure we can have it taken down, but we have other pedestals, so maybe we would wanna look at leaving that one just because it had been there for a very long time. and Nobody's opposed to it.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't mean to displace anybody. It's already, yeah.
But let's, if your design that where you want to put these stuff in that, if that is crucial to your presentation, let us know. We can definitely talk it through. Maybe it's a matter of moving that one or talking to the artist.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Whether it be moving,
yeah, I understand these things, we have visions and stuff like that. It's hard to, sometimes interrupt the flow and it can throw the whole thing off. So
Right.
definitely come back to us if there's an issue with that. So I guess my questions are this is $5,000 is a grant, right?
Well, we're gonna,
Yeah, that would be a grant.
yeah, it would be the Vermont Arts Council project grant that I would apply
Okay.
for.
Yeah, and Kyle's a grant writer, so she's gonna do it herself instead of asking for him to do it.
And so that's the only, there is no cost to the taxpayers for this project.
Not at this time.
Okay, and it would be a couple of years, you said you'd be willing to want to leave those there?
Yes, it'd really be up to you and what wanted, if 1 year, 2 years, you wanted something longer, we could definitely talk about that too.
Yeah, but the grant would cover a 2-year stay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, the sculptures look good to me. I think the thoughts behind it is, kind of fits the community well. And now, do you need the village to co-sign for the grant, or is that something?
I imagine that while when we apply for it, having something written saying that we are partnering with me for this project, I think that would be great.
Letter of support or
A letter of support, yeah, something like that, yeah.
they can take care of
Is
that.
that gonna inhibit the grant with us being the village and it's through a town committee?
Well, no, letter of support, you can get those from all over the place.
I just wanted to make sure that we weren't gonna inhibit the process, whether
Yeah.
it'd been better for the select board to.
Right, they can do that. They can do a letter of support and they can also just back the grant.
Yeah, I just didn't, like I said, I'm trying to go smooth.
And I also think that the type of grant we're doing, it's actually a specific project grant, and I think that there are some public funded grants that might get a little tricky, but this type of application, I think, is specifically for just these 4 sculptures.
No.
So I've listened to what you said, and you said that 5,000 will cover the 2 years. And we can discuss it later on at that. So does that mean in 2 years? You take them back down,
Yes, sir.
or if we're like, oh, you can go ahead and leave them, then there will be a fee? Because I was just listening to what you said. You said this will cover 2 years. And then after that, we can discuss what it is.
Yes, I mean, so in the past, what's happened with me personally is that we have the agreement, it's good, and I come to pick it up, and they're like, we don't want to see it go, we really enjoy the sculptures. And then if you want, we can talk again about another loan, maybe another 5,000 for 2 more years or something like that, but.
Okay, I just want to be sure that, because I was just listening to what you said about the 2 years, and then we'll discuss it. I just
No,
want to
there's
be
no
sure.
catch involved. in
There's,
that.
that's what I,
Yeah, fair enough.
okay.
Yeah, there's no auto pay.
Well.
I see what you're saying.
No, I just like to be clear on what we're doing.
Yeah, no, nothing tricky involved.
Yeah.
Steve? No, my questions are covered.
So I'll make a motion if you want, Trish. I'll make a motion that we approve.
I'm so sorry, there is one more thing, again, this with my experience and everything, is insurance, things that I think that the town needs to think about is insurance, and not, I mean. I've never had any issues with my work, it's more about like if somebody were to hit it, or something like that, and I think in the cities I've worked with before, they have insurance in the town that covers things like that, and these fell underneath it. But that, I'm just as for all transparency's sake, that's another thing to consider, is, let's say. Somebody, were to vandalize it or tear it down or hit it with a car or something like that, what happens then? And I don't mean to complicate this right as you're about to make a vote, but it's another.
What does happen?
Well, I guess I've actually never had that.
Like if something happened and it got hit. And you're saying the first one. 5,000, you donate the other. If somebody hits it, do we then owe you?
Well, I think what happens is that, that's a great question. I'm not sure if you know me. I think that it would be like what the value of the piece is would have to cover that, and with 4 it'd be like $1,500 or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever that would break down to. It's just one more thing to throw out there. I'm not sure how your insurance works in Johnson or things like that, or if it's you know, things along the sidewalk.
It's gonna be the same as 90 some odd percent of municipalities, because we have the same insurer.
Okay, perfect, perfect, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there as another thing that most people do talk about.
I'll incorporate that into my motion.
Yeah, you hang right on that though. When we talked about the other sculpture, when we were talking about it was to release the village of liability for that sculpture.
It was what?
It was to release the liability of the village for that sculpture that was on Pro Street when we contacted.
Mhm.
So I don't know if we should accept liability for new ones when we wouldn't accept liability for one that's been there for a period of time.
I'll cover that in my motion if you'd like.
Yeah, and that's, again, I bring that up specifically for these things, like,
Yeah.
I'd be happy to sign a waiver of liability, you know, but these are all things that I think, you know, we look for transparency.
Yeah, because I mean. Well, there's yeah, look, I can't have it. The odds would be able to getting a hole pretty low because it hit the pedestal first and the pedestal would stop it.
Yes,
You know, but you know, rotten kids, well, they happen.
yeah,
I've seen light bulbs hit in the middle of the field, there was only one light bulb.
Well, I know. You know, its base is a big piece of concrete.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
just whenever you're dealing with public art, that is a consideration.
For your sketch right here, you have like a base on the bottom,
That actually is sort of like the base that we go,
so maybe all of them have a base just in case.
well, they're all going on.
Oh, you mean that?
That's the story.
They get bolted onto them?
Yes, sir, they'll be bolted on, there'll be a thicker gauge steel at the bottom, will bolt directly into the.
All right, so
So it's both hardware and pedestals.
As long as it's okay if I drill a hole for the bolts, I guess.
I think there is some kind of,
There's just a
There's some-
center rod sticking that thing.
If there's already a mechanism there, I can design the fastening.
For that mechanism.
yeah,
Yeah,
Well, again, as I said, we contacted the last artist on Pearl Street about liability on these. That was our concern. I'm just saying that was our concern.
we'll do a friendly amendment on the,
He hadn't made no motion yet.
okay then. I think he's reconfiguring his
That's
motion.
where, that's my only
I guess
concern.
but that way it get back.
But-
We're covered for
Or the artist
liability.
already said he decided waiver liability, so.
If that's, I mean, if that's what needs to be done, you know, I just wanna make sure, I'd love to see some sculptures downtown here, you got those great colors, you know. Johnson is a great art community.
I mean, if the village was to even for the insurance to accept it, we would need something from him stating what each one would be worth. We can't put them up and then you say they're worth $10,000 a piece for us to make a claim on the insurance company.
Right. I think there'll be something that'll come back around at some point, the insurance part of it, you know, so that's what we'll talk about that.
But I think your motion to hit all my concerns I've had.
I'm just, okay, so you said you want to sign a waiver liability?
Sure, absolutely, if that's what you all need.
And attached to the original hardware,
Sorry, what?
and attached to whatever the setup we have there.
So you don't want to put a molly anchor into.
No, we're not sure if it's,
Huh?
Are them granite or concrete?
Granite, thank.
he said he would attach to whatever hardware we have there.
I would say you should could have a conversation with Nate and do what Nate suggests.
Yeah. I mean, this made the first attempt to attach some hardware is there, and if obviously it doesn't work, then let's have another conversation, because I don't think it's beyond reason to drill a hole, put a molly in to.
No,
Yeah.
To have it there. You know, if it's easy that way, if it's, you know, if it's not gonna work, then, you know, reach out and he'll reach out to Nate, and you guys will come up with a plan to make it happen, that makes sense to you guys?
Perfect.
Okay, so with that said, I make a motion that we take the four sculptures presented here, you know, rendition of
Yeah.
in that neighborhood, by Michael Stanley, to go on to 4 of the pedestals, the artist pedestals in the village. For 2 years, and we give a letter of support to the Vermont Art Council's project grant, with the understanding that Michael will sign a liability waiver for the structures while they're up. I cover what you need.
I think so.
or do we have permission to apply for the grant, the beautification committee?
Actually, you're a town committee, right?
But I think we need I also need to make sure you guys give your approval too. I think I need both approvals.
Okay, well then I'll. No one's seconded it yet, so along with that, we approved the beautification committee securing the Vermont Art Council's project grant.
In the letter of approval.
That we agreed to that.
That's our second, yeah.
Do we have a second? Second. Any further discussion?
Are you gonna be looking for the village to set these
That, more than
7
likely-
feet high? I'm just kind of curious if.
Well, I imagine it's 5 to 7 foot, and it's
Yeah.
hard for me to figure out. with
Yeah.
the
Yes.
Space.
Yeah,
Most of them, they're very light. I'm
Okay.
working on a thin gauge metal, I can usually do it myself.
Okay.
Yeah. Won't take like a crane or anything.
Don, are you good with the motion? Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
All right, fantastic.
The only thing we didn't square away is 2 years from what date? Date, you wanna do the date you install?
Yes, from the date we install.
Is that good with everybody?
We might have to get back to you on when that date will be.
Well, you gotta get the grant, you gotta
Yeah,
make them,
exactly.
you gotta,
Right,
yeah.
it'll be a bit.
Yeah, it'll be a second, yeah, I'm hoping this
The
summer.
pedestals will be there. We're not exactly having an overrun of people charging into my stuff on it. so.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming.
Check in when you're ready and we'll get you in the right direction and help you along.
Great, appreciate it.
What else did you have?
I also have the possibility of doing, hanging, planters on the streetlight posts. So we haven't like bought anything for doing that yet, for like getting approval, for the baskets themselves. We were thinking before even coming and asking about that, we wanted to have an idea of how we would water those in case it was a possibility. So we did go ahead and buy it's like a V4 like water sprayer that it's like battery operated. So even if we weren't able to do it, use that for the hanging baskets, we could use that in other parts of the village. So we went ahead and bought that. I told Rosemary we bought that and she said I might want to get your approval, but I had already had her buy it. So I didn't know I had to get approval on that. So first I'm asking for approval to be allowed to buy what I already bought.
You know, is that through the village beautification fund?
Well,
Yeah,
first it was paid out of the town beautification fund, and they want to transfer it to the village beautification.
How much was it?
it was $250.
Yeah, around that.
Yeah,
Describe it again, cause I kind of missed
it's
your.
a V4 like water sprayer. So it's like battery powered and it has like a big kind of tank where you put water in it, and it has wheels on it, so you can like roll it around and do like remote spraying of plants. So, and yeah, like we originally got it so that we could do the hanging baskets. I have talked to a couple business owners in town and they like have really expressed to me that they want hanging baskets on the street lamp posts and they'd be willing to donate money for that to happen. So, yeah, so I want to get approval to buy or to have purchased that sprayer, but also get approval to try to get funds to do hanging baskets someday if we can like maintain them ourselves.
So I talked to Eric about this already, and most of the lamp posts have the outriggers on it already.
They're ready to go.
Yeah, so it's not any added expense besides the water.
So it was bought for the town beautification,
Mhm.
and now you wanna take it off that, on the village.
Yeah, I didn't, when I
What's the
sent it
logic
to
behind
Rosemary to buy, I didn't
Yeah,
specify.
what is the reason you want it switched?
Just so that we use those funds for this, because I feel like we would use the sprayer in the village more than the town. We would use it for both, but I just thought our funds should go to that more. For the village.
This way, we budget 500 yearly.
I was just wondering why the switch was.
Okay, so how much is the sprayer?
Ish.
Exactly 250?
Ish. I think it was less than that. But
Okay, so I'll make a motion to spend up to $250 for, what do you call it, V sprayer?
Yeah, water sprayer. Okay.
Okay, V sprayer for the beautification committee.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Packed with flowers. How many?
I don't know yet. I don't know how many, I didn't know how many rods we have already there and if we have more that we want to put up.
Do you have a suggestion for whether it should be 2 on a post, 1 on a post? I mean, you gotta realize you're not putting up no like hanging basket that's this big around and
Right.
weighs 50 pounds, correct? So we're understanding you're gonna do
Yeah,
something.
just like a normal 1-inch one.
I mean, so I think it'll look good.
No, it's not about that. I was just saying it's not gonna compromise the post at all.
Right.
Otherwise, so would you check with, if this is approved, check with Eric when you get them so that he could say like, yeah, you could put 2 or maybe only 1 per or something, just to,
Mhm.
so we don't have an issue.
Yeah.
And you just take it from there, what the board did with that.
So funding for the flowers, you mentioned some of the businesses were going to chip in. To help with that project, and you obviously have an additional $250 available in the village funds, right?
Right,
But you said you were looking for additional funds.
for the baskets.
For the
and so on and
baskets.
stuff.
Right. So with that said, if you don't know how many you're gonna need, and you obviously don't have a price on the baskets, because you don't know how many you need.
Right,
I personally am in favor of the flowers. But there's no way I'm making a motion or we're voting positive in the affirmative until we have more information.
yeah. I just wanted to, like,
That's me.
I wanted just wanted to get a temperature check to see if it was like possible. Yeah,
I think you got,
No, you
it doesn't hurt to look into it.
You weren't talking about additional village funds, you were talking about getting the additional funds from the businesses and stuff.
yeah, the businesses would pay for the whole project.
So you're not looking for the other 250, right?
No,
So that's what you were
Well-
thinking.
Okay.
You're just
So
looking.
you're not
okay
asking
to
for
go with it.
you're not asking for any tax dollars tonight.
no,
You're just looking for permission to hang flowers?
yeah, I'm saying
Oh, hell yeah.
logistically it's
Yeah.
possible.
Okay, I make a motion, we allow the beautification committee to hang flowers on the lamp post in the village.
Checking in there.
Checking with Eric as to size and number per pole of existing hangers.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Right?
Oh,
And I just want to get clarification on, so is there a price amount that I need to get like approval first to spend village funds? Or how's that work?
yeah, you need to get approval from the board before you spend it.
So-
So like with that, you should have come and asked us before you bought it, but we understand what's going on and.
Mhm.
But so if you were to say you wanted the other 250 for 30 baskets that you purchased or looking to purchase, you would probably have to come back. Unless the board's willing to let Eric dole out the last 250 of their budget. With consulting with me and BJ or something, or,
So with like the town, I don't usually have to get approval for spending our budget, we just kind of like spend it how we see fit. So is that's not the case?
no. Hasn't been the case anyway.
Oh, okay, and so that's the case with just like if we wanted to buy some flowers for the village, like smaller purchases, like $20 here, $20 there. Every single smaller purchase, I'd have to get approval.
I would be okay with it, right? Are you okay with taking the yay nay on? Okay, I just didn't want to add, I don't want to add more to your load, it's your. I don't know if you want a motion, just consensus, but my thought is, let's, if they need something, give Eric a call, say we want this, and Eric will give you a yay or nay. If he says no and you disagree, then you can come to the board.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, so you're saying if I wanna buy like $20 worth of flowers.
Give Eric a call, say I want flowers.
Drop me a quick email,
Okay,
drop me a quick.
but then if it's over a certain amount, should I then ask Eric to put me on the agenda?
No, Eric's there.
You're within your budget.
Everything within your budget, but if he says no and you think it's something that should be yes, then I would say you can then come forward. And we can either agree with him or disagree with him, but that gives you an extra layer of possibilities.
So you're looking to do this with the remaining $250 in funds for 2025?
Yeah.
I think it involves money, we'd need a motion.
That's my motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? That works for you? All in favor?
Right.
Motion passes.
Good evening.
Appreciate it. Thank you all.
And Michael, thank you.
We'll be in touch about the installation.
Can't wait to see how they turn out.
Yeah, I think you're like. Cross off a few things,
Rosemary.
Okay, Rosemary,
Peek
so
through
you
and see if they're all signed up.
They're all signed. I just need to put the seals on.
so you.
Passed out a budget status report for the end of last year. I think the only thing that's really missing is the depreciation for water and sewage, which I'm gonna work on this week.
Stand out, their electrical Brennan and
I don't know, I think the other departments are in fairly good shape.
the electrical get caught up any,
Maybe once our rate increase gets filled out.
so 2 months.
Mm-hmm. At least we got approval now.
Yes, we did get our approval. For rate increase.
Electric. Now,
Careful on that.
oh, you okay? We'll deal with that later.
And I passed out a delinquent tax list.
You did these.
And a town is gonna go to tax sale sometime after May. And we'll probably just piggyback with them for the village taxes.
Yeah.
But no, we don't have to do this tonight, but there's probably a couple on there that we're gonna have to abate, because at least one dead person and one trailer that's been demolished a few years ago. That's still on there.
So the taxes follow the property owner.
Yes,
So if the owner died, is it a trailer?
it's a trailer.
Okay. All right. I won't go down that road.
Yeah, it's, I think it's less than a couple $100 anyways.
Would it be quicker if we just said now, Rosemary, or do we need to, warn them?
It probably should be warned, I would think.
Yeah. So you said after May for the
Tax
the
sale,
town?
because there's been new rules for tax sales and you have to wait at least a year since the last bill was due before you can sell it.
Right. Right. Now, I get a quick question. One of these has delinquent taxes for 20 and 21, but not 23 and 24. Has that been, the property been removed? Is that why?
Is that on?
Jody Raymond.
Oh. Yeah, the earlier it's a different trailer
Okay,
with a different owner.
with a different number. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's why one of those has been demolished.
Probably, or
Okay.
in the graveyard.
Yeah. Okay.
What's this one that's just, it says Sterling Mountains, there's no name.
I believe it's an apartment buildings. There's 3 properties. Yeah. They put them in company names instead of name names.
Yeah. Corporate.
Probably 90% of them are trailers, so.
Yeah. Well, that was Kenny's job, but I'd say if you want to warn, get Kenny and Eric, the ones you have dismissed, we can warn it for
Yep.
next month and then get rid of those damn things.
Now we're getting a meeting in 2 weeks.
3 weeks.
Good for you.
You said it, I work here. You guys don't get to blame me for that one.
26, I think.
Another budget meeting?
Yes.
Electric in general, right?
Hmm?
Electric general. and
Electric in
water.
general. This month.
I have a question for Rosemary.
Mm-hmm.
One of these properties, this is just curiosity, one of these properties, if they end up going into delinquent, say, or dilapidated building, would that be wiped off anyways?
I don't think so.
Okay.
If it goes, they're gonna pay the taxes to go to do the buyout. But like with the trailer, it's gone, there's no buyout.
Well, I just know I'm dealing with a dilapidated building.
Yeah,
I
but
was
it's still,
so that's why I was wondering if that was a way, if they were trying to do a skirt around to get away with tax.
Oh, yeah.
No, because the land was something,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
unless it's a trailer.
So the trailers are the ones in the bottom.
Any small amount are typically trailers. Less than 100 pounds are typically trailers. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else.
Nothing stood out on the, anything red
No.
flagging you? Yeah, you got some more signatures sitting right there in that crowd.
Are they village residents though?
You're
Diane
doing
is.
town one. Well, that's rare, but you can do yours, right?
For what?
For either.
What?
She's not giving up.
Delinquent tax collector.
Yes, she is.
But
Yeah.
you're. One more year, and I say this thing. You know what, we retire, we're gonna get old.
Mhm.
Wow, I feel like retired now.
Are you getting old?
Difference between ugly and old, you
I know. Great. Rosemary don't have anything else for us?
I think we need to spend more time on the budget.
Yeah. You gotta hang up for that.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Eric, so you.
Alright. Okay, the electric rate case that we started last spring finally became official late last week for 10.895%. Full amount applied for. While this is good news, the fact that they sat on it long enough to miss the billings for January and February usage is disappointing. The winter edition of the Village News went out with the electric billing cycle last week. It's included in this meeting packet. The Water Light Garage project is churning forward. We have weekly meetings on it and it remains on schedule. Reviewed the design package and provided comments which affected changes in the plan. Most notably, they had 3-phase power coming into the facility and heat pumps for that voltage. The nearest 3-phase is at the bridge and would cost about $100,000 to bring in. So they changed it to 240 versus 208 volt heaters. We're currently on schedule to go out to bid for construction on February 20th. So it's getting real.
Are we gonna see a final drawing before the, or is the drawing still set?
Those
from the
drawings
last
are,
one?
yeah.
Hadn't changed.
Well, the only the changes are
The heat.
what we
Yep,
changed.
yep.
Yep.
No structure.
No. Budget work dominates my time currently. The water wastewater budget prepared for your review tonight. General and electric budgets are next. As mentioned in the previous meeting, the water treatment facility standby generator is an old, out of production, no longer supported model that has major repair and maintenance issues. Simple parts that should cost $100 cost over $3,000 due to it being unsupported. This generator has around $3,500 of immediate needs work and another $6,000 of really should get done soon work, just to get it working okay. Late last year, I applied for a small system capacity and resiliency program, SCRP Tier 2 grant for the entire amount to replace that old diesel generator with a new propane fired model. We were contacted last week to say that we were a winner of this competitive grant program.
Good job.
This is incredible news. Discussing it with Dan Cobb. He believes he can limp the current generator along without any of the repairs long enough to source and install the new model, which keeps that out of our budget. I expect an early fall project finish as always with grants. This will require multiple bureaucratic hoops we jump through to make it happen. I'm sure I'll be bringing you many financial agreements to sign in the near future. Ken and I have been requested to attend the February 18th, Tuesday, select board meeting to update them on the wastewater treatment facility relocation progress, and hopefully secure their sign off on selling us their half of this building at assessed value should that grant financing allow us to move the wastewater treatment facility. The HVAC estimates for this building is attached. It is $51,382.22. The town is looking for the village commitment for half of the bill. The cost of this has been accounted for in the draft budgets. Is there a motion to pay up to $25,691.61 to replace the broken AC?
Your motion,
It's in the budget, you said, right, for the 25 budget?
It's in the draft budgets, yes.
So,
do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes for $25,691.61.
Steve,
I made it.
I second it.
oh, there you go, all right. Yeah. And lastly, but not least, there are only 38 days left until spring.
Where? Tennessee?
Well, officially. Until we actually have more daylight than dark, not necessarily spring weather.
What was the value of that grant?
87,000 some odd.
And that would cover it?
Yes,
No
yes, we've already got quotes. That's installed and everything.
I go with propane too, I think it was a 6 to 8 week lead time on there versus the diesels, 28 weeks.
Yes,
So, and down there, really we're deciding to go with propane, just with 500 gallons of diesel fuel sitting 80 feet from our well. Much better off to go with propane. I don't know why they put diesel down there anyways.
Doesn't make any sense.
no,
Can that diesel be
Propane,
transferred?
propane legal
Yeah,
direct
but
Cambridge.
when it comes that time, I'm sure we can figure out, get it up, use it down the road, whatever, so.
If you get a propane leak, it all goes to Cambridge.
right,
Good for never river.
quote,
I never thought about it, that wasn't included in that, it was. What happens, you know, generator. The motor and everything in that sauna, it's just.
right.
Generating part and the radiator, you know.
Yeah, maybe we make a penny off of it.
Right. I don't think $1,000 about this.
So is it one of those environmental grants where you gotta drill a hole in the old diesel to replace it with propane
No,
or?
that
Oh, no.
was our choice, that was just our choice.
Okay.
No, this isn't one of those grants. This is.
Straight up.
It's straight up improvements to water facilities with problems.
Perfect.
And it won't be affected by any federal thing because it's state money.
Unless the state doesn't.
Is there any
Oh,
market
no,
for
it's
that?
not a push through. They already have the money.
For that motor.
It's, it has no federal strings.
Look at Mike want it.
I'd say that would be your best place to get rid of it.
Yep,
We'll talk with them once we get it ordered.
And that diesel tank is down here, says 500 gallons,
Yeah, it's right under the generator, kind of built in as one.
built into one unit, okay, so it's not a separate tank we have to deal with.
yeah, maybe we're talking about X in cash or X, Y in future services.
That make it a separate deal.
Well, I'm saying because they do our periodic service. appointments.
I see, yeah,
You know, if it's 2,000 cash or $4,000 in, services that you just get.
Yeah.
Checked off on. You know,
it all works.
right,
What is the new heat in the new garage?
Is that a heater on?
Oh, it's on.
oh,
You want
it's,
You want me to turn it off? Or
it's a
turn it down?
mix,
Can you?
so it's gonna have. In the living spaces, I guess. Mini splits.
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be a different type of electric in the garage. But maintaining the current one as like,
So there's no waste oil burner or something.
no.
Well, I was asking about when he was talking about that 500 gallons, where that,
No, they just use it in the machines, if anything.
Right,
Well-
Be off road, so.
We're doing infrared hanging, right?
yeah,
And electric baseboard.
right,
The heat pumps are in the office and
in the break room, yeah. Office and break room,
and the heat pumps are AC heat.
right.
sorry, I got off topic, I was just gonna be curious about the fuels.
No, it's fine.
And then there,
Yep, and then we're back today.
Diesel.
Right now.
All right, on the wastewater side, the Bureau of Repairs submitted to the state With all 48,000 gallons of water for more for processing in the month of January. We perform annual service on the SGR and flood blowers. We order more blower oil. But it's good for like 3 years with it. So, took some pictures around the plant and emailed them to BJ for the new website. We fixed a broken water line connector in the SGR. We ordered a new Allen pump and fittings. The second pump failed due to the flood damage. We replaced one about 6 months ago and turned up the other one finally back. So,
And we're gonna be able to get that in.
yeah, we're sure. Yeah, we're gonna spend it that way. So
Yeah, that's what they told us to do.
it's like $600 with everything. So those pumps will be able to.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of days doing snow removal and clean up the pump stations. We have a bat float at the East Johnson pump station. We ordered a new one, and as soon as the weather permits, we will install it. Met with Eric to go over budgets for both water and wastewater. On the water side, monthly reports were submitted to the state. Coliform samples were negative. We rotated the pumps at Keywood Pump House 2. Replaced a faulty power meter at the Clay Hill Booster Station. As you guys know, someone sprayed graffiti on the Clay Hill Booster Station. We were able to get it to come off the front metal door, but not off the wooden siding. As soon as the temps rise above freezing, we're gonna put a coat of paint over. We have the paint, paint it over to cover it up, and then in the spring we'll paint the whole wall. But it's just we haven't had one day above freezing since then. Water loss was 16%. That is about double last month, but that includes the unmetered water that happened with the ice skating rink. Yes.
Bless.
Which
So
that
that
alone was
Counts for most of it.
about 7% of our
8%.
so,
Yeah. So single digit water loss.
yeah. You're not right. That's which is great. That's all I got.
Dan, please thank Tim for everything he's doing. He's been giving us everything we need for that.
I will do that.
Water and light report. Electric department. Shipping containers arrived and crews are prepping to start the move. Metal dumpster arrived for scrap metal. 11 School Street installed a new 400 amp service for the college. Build out a new service at 11 School Street. Build out for half of the tree removal at 114 School Street. Little,
PSC College.
yeah.
The Vermont Studio
It's
Center.
Vermont Studio Center, isn't it?
Oh, I'm sorry, Vermont Studio Center. I was thinking Vermont State College. I thought he was just getting it wrong. Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Yep, sorry, Vermont Studio Center.
okay, I'm like, the college buy that?
No, sorry. I just saw VSC. I was thinking Vermont State College.
Yeah, okay, just clarify, thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Little bucket is ready to sell, the old one. Get all the stickers off it and all the gear they wanted. Put on the new one. Met the engineers on the new garage. Matt started his apprenticeship at NEPA. Completed inventory, worked on reports to the state. Completed monthly meter checks, high low checks, substation checks, and dig safe. Water and sewer. Turned off on water at 236 KUN Road, frozen water at 144 Lower Main West, frozen water at 198 KUN, frozen water at 147 Park, left off in the pump house. Frozen water at 42 Upper French Hill Road, left off. Frozen water at 11 Lower Main West, no damage. Completed inventory. General.
But just a quick question on the frozen water, assuming that's in or at the residence, not,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, and quite often what happens is they'll freeze. With not always, but most common is it'll freeze the water meter. Break the frost cap. Which is meant to break to save the rest of it.
Yeah, so do a curb stop and then.
And you turn it off. It's a billable thing because it's owner neglect. Right. So their parts and labor is billed to the person who's water froze. Yeah.
That's the water meter.
Sometimes, yeah. Happens mostly like under trailers and such.
Most of our meters are inside the buildings.
But sometimes just the water line will freeze and they'll do what they can to help, but not, usually it's a plumber.
Where's
That
the
was-
water meter? Even though I don't always have. I don't even
Do you have
know
a it depends on if you have a basement or no basement.
Some of them have basements.
If it's in a
some have
basement,
basements.
If it's in the basement, it's just inside the wall where the water line comes in.
You know, the
No basement,
probably
usually in a
the kitchen
utility
sink,
closet.
or the
Well,
kitchen
I've
sink.
had frozen pipes, I don't know.
Yeah.
Too many times this winter, and it's like, so now, that's probably gonna happen to me now.
No basements usually.
Then you'll learn where it is.
It's the way it's been.
If there's no basement, there's usually a utility closet or something.
You got the cabinet over all under the kitchen sink.
Yep, sometimes,
Oh,
yeah. So. Yeah, it depends on, yeah,
Yes, I better-
depends on how your
I guess I better look around and see where they are.
builder made it.
Quick question back on.
It's good to know, because right before that is a quarter turn valve, that if something else is broken. Stops all your water. Well, you hope it's quarter turn. It could be I'm losing my brain.
Texting.
No,
Kurt Bob.
gate valve. You know, twist down,
Oh,
knob, those things are notorious for not working great, yeah. So.
But they work great unless you want to stop.
Right.
I get that happen with my kerosene. tank.
Right,
Check
Yeah.
my kerosene.
So you got,
quarter turn stainless steel ball valve works every time.
you got, build out half tree removal on School Street roads. Half of the tree. Understand.
Didn't take all the tree, yes. I'm not certain,
So it wasn't undue our utilities, we assisted somebody.
or maybe it was a deal because it was threatening the tree and threatening, you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well, you said you billed out for it, so if it was in our lines, we wouldn't charge anybody.
Right, so we probably part of it was probably threatening, part of it was, my guess. Yep. General, picked up snow. Pushback banks, replace U-joints on the 2500, raised and changed out flags. Sand and salt and plowing the sidewalks.
Flags on hydrants or
Huh?
what flags on what?
The flags were down for a month for President Carter.
Oh, the flags, okay. Yeah, gotcha.
Safety, NEPA safety meeting was on February 5th for confined space. And they actually chose to get that because we've had too much going on. And there's a possibility I can find it for much less than NEPA rates. Yeah. They did that. Johnson Fire Department responded to 11 calls, 8 during the day, 3 at night. And the average duration was 64 minutes. Those calls were 1 vehicle crash, 1 medical assist, 3 medical assists, 3 automatic alarms, 1 CO detector, 2 odor investigations, and 1 other possible hazmat/fire hazard. The average number of firefighters responded was 10, total hours of service was 99. Other budget planning for 2025 is completed in cooperation with the village manager. 2025 service contracts for the town of Johnson, town of Waterville, and town of Belvedere have been prepared and sent. Belvedere's has been returned. Through volunteer work details, members have constructed and installed a new drying rack for hoses and specialty ropes, improving safety with our apparatus bag.
How's mitigation going?
That'll start later on.
Yep. This Thursday, we're cleaning out the room. And then I understand the following weeks, we're supposed to start.
Cut up some sheet rock real quick, move stuff for probably bringing now great. What about lower storage, the mitigation down there?
That's gonna be end of the month.
But did we remember our conversation about price match what we did before? Was it included? Cause we already raised the ceiling.
Right, yeah, very basically, all they're doing is raising the boiler.
Okay, so they had in its mitigation,
Yeah.
raising the ceiling.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure that, so that will be adjusted then.
Right.
You had that in there, so if
Right,
if you figured that. it's
no,
gonna
he's just
be 1,000 or 2 less than that price
Right.
was. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
I have a quick one, Eric.
Yes.
Do you have the contact of the person that was gonna come down to our meetings from the college and give us reports? Cause it seems like we haven't,
That was the interim president of the Vermont State College System. That was here.
there was a student, I thought, that was gonna,
No, that was the intern president, or the intern executive, whatever it is.
anyway, we haven't gotten
Haven't heard
anything on
much.
getting, I don't know what the proper term is, but.
Only thing I've heard from them recently is they were asking both the town and village what they needed to do to put up new and improved welcome to the college signs on the street.
Again.
So that's a good sign.
Again,
Yeah, they're,
just throwing that out there.
So,
So. I don't know, it's just because we're on the college subject. They pulled their $6,000 3 years ago. And. There's a lot of calls, as you see every month up there. In the past, we billed them for any car alarms, anything that has to do with non-emergency services. I would like the board to consider this, and Eric, I'm gonna have Eric talk to the chief. I'd like to start pulling them for that again. Our what's the tax program called?
Pilot money.
Pilot money's cut again. We're losing on that situation up here, and as you're gonna see in this budget, how badly it's affecting their water and sewer also. So in fairness for the taxpayers and everything, I think we need to look at that again.
What do they get calls up there for?
Our fire department responds to car alarms.
security alarms.
How come their security doesn't take care of
We get 911 calls and dispatch.
When their security alarm system goes off, it's currently set up so that, we get toned out. An officer makes a phone call to their security to see if it requires a response or not. So there's not a great amount of time involved in those alarms. It
it?
is.
So you don't just automatically have to.
We don't currently know. We were there today, for an alarm that needed a response.
A building one or a car?
Building. Yeah. I think the last time we were there for a car was a car fire, so there was.
But this don't show the calls going out to their, like, the posts they put on Facebook. So it's individuals calls. You know, he's on the department. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So typically. That's 99% college,
Yeah,
so.
and then, well, anyway, like I said, there's just a lot of calls. In the past, we used to bill them for this. I don't know how much, Rosemary, probably, it was a while ago.
Yeah, cause they paid a set amount for a long time.
But we're getting bled from every end on them.
Mhm.
Just I love our calls, don't get me wrong. Just saying, we can't support the state.
Right.
How much money are you talking about?
We lost $6,000 they gave us for these calls that I'm discussing. That's what they
Oh,
gave
they
us.
used to give 6,000, right,
Was it 6 or more?
It started at 5 and it went up to 6.
in addition to pilot.
And- But the pilot money is for payment in lieu of taxes.
Right.
Right. This was strictly for fire service.
And it was originally intended because of all the silly calls that they did that weren't really EMS related. Cause there's a lot of them within a year's time, especially when the college was busy.
So it's kind of like we build out for, like we do with the other towns, we did the other towns and them.
Well, we do a contract with them. That's all. I'm not 100% up on it. I just know from talking to Gordy that they used to bill. How, I don't know. Maybe we should look at something again. I don't know. It's just a thought. 'Cause
I think
this water and sewer budget's gonna scare you.
I think putting time into that as far as trying to figure out what to bill would be a matter of finding out if we bill them, will they pay it?
I believe they did. You know,
The last couple of years reluctantly.
sure, I guess. No, I just thought,
It might be worth a reach out to see. You know, say, hey, we're thinking about billing 4 calls, we're billing out an annual rate or something like that. If we send a bill, is they gonna get paid? Cause there's no sense in us spending our time or Derek spending his time to find out where we all, yeah, no, you send a bill, oh, we're not paying it. So, like pilot, it's gone, so.
I mean, I think it would be worth saying, okay, what kind of calls are we gonna bill? And then look at the last 2 years' history and really see if it's even worth pursuing.
That's easy enough to do, to get the number of.
well, if you're gonna start doing your calculations, all you gotta start with taking 6,000 in the hole right off the bat. Then do your calculations. Remember that. Just
Well,
saying.
yeah, I mean, that's one way of looking at it. The other way, the way the college will look at it is. This is the only town of any of their campuses that they had that.
Then they should quit putting all their money into other campuses so the kids go there and not here. Sorry, I'm being real about it.
Right, I'm just being devil's advocate, knowing their side of it.
I didn't say it was gonna happen, I just threw out a suggestion of things that used to be done in the past. When they didn't give us, and then like I said, they keep taking away.
How long has it been since they paid the 6,000?
2 years at least.
I would say 3 or 4.
Probably before COVID.
Before it come to my
No,
attention.
No,
At least 2 years.
they paid end of 2022. And told us that was it.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, it's
I was
just
here when it
something that we
You
can,
were-
We just
you were-
stopped
you were
billing
here?
them, or did they just
Okay.
stop
That
paying?
was when their numbers dropped.
the state just quits right there.
Yeah, I think they told us in a year in advance. This is gonna be your last payment.
Let's get through the budget here and then we can try to. Keep that in our back pocket, I would say, cause. I think we're going to chase.
So let's do Linda real quick. Linda, you got her update for us?
Sort of, kind of. They approved the municipal plan for the town and the village for Cambridge and for Johnson last week. Basically, that's the only thing that pertains to us. They're panicking about their loss of grant money. We're talking lots of money that they're not sure they're gonna get now. The Northern Vermont Economic Development Grant, they're not sure it's coming through anymore. Their Brownfields grant, we don't know about that, they're on hold for a lot of things. And I'm assuming you guys know, April 10th. There's a joint meeting with the trustees and the select boards from, I think they're talking about all the towns.
That email just came today.
And the planning commission, yeah, they talked about this. I think it was the last week of the week before that we had that meeting. League, city and town, whatever they're called. They're gonna have it at the tech center. Did you get that?
Mhm.
They just want everybody to get together. Chit chat. April 10th.
6 PM. It's trying to get all the governing boards in one room.
In one spot.
And you won't be doing village business, so you can do it.
Yeah. Planning commission.
Be there. Okay.
Are they gonna do any type of remote?
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, they'll get more on that. And let's see. Of course, all their FEMA grants. They're all up in the air. They don't know what's happening with that either. Basically, they're sitting around waiting. But all the plans got approved for Johnson and for Cambridge.
Thank you. Short and sweet, and do better than that.
It's just, so much of it is just. I have no idea what they're talking.
There's a lot of mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, there was a talk, but they did talk about a video that was made of the Green River Reservoir. And can't remember how we put that out. Richard Pearson from Hyde Park did a movie on it. And they strongly suggested that people watch that, so to keep the Green River. that we keep that reservoir. Anyway, that might be something you wanna look at, but other than that. That was the only thing that would pertain to us. The FEMA things, have you heard anything about FEMA?
I mean, he rescinded the order that stopped grants 4 days after he wrote. So as far as it, you know,
Just review.
as long as it's
We'll
rescinded,
wait and see.
yeah, it's been rescinded, so. Right now, everything's, you know, going forward as. You know. I mean, we gotta check today.
So what would happen? If it got all put on hold and these people are waiting for their FEMA buyout. And it's not coming through, what happens to those houses? And what happens to them tax wise,
They're responsible to spot out.
as long as their house, so if they've applied for the FEMA buyout and it's been approved. Are they still responsible for the
Yes.
taxes?
I think
Yes,
the day they go.
they can't get the grant unless the taxes are current.
I think they gotta come in and you gotta sign something and everything at the end, like Mary saying they're paid and.
I mean, obviously the house is damaged, you get reassessed, it's at
Right.
a lesser value.
So what happens, I was thinking about this the other day, what happens health wise with these houses that sit and they've gotta be full of mold and everything else? And what if they just keep sitting there for?
We can get it condemned.
Well, they are, nobody's in.
Right,
Right
now
now,
what happens?
officially condemned.
So
Right,
if they
and they
do
won't-
get condemned.
And they don't do the buyout till the building's down. It's all put back.
Oh, they don't.
Yeah, the landowner's
So that's
responsible, I
all
believe,
done.
for getting rid of everything. It's all gotta be down to the ground before the buyout's
Before
complete.
FEMA gives them any money.
I guess don't hold me on it 100%, but that was my understanding of it. Has to be turned over as a green space.
So as far as the property owner goes, if they got a house that's beyond repair and they don't want any more, stop paying taxes. Cause it will go for tax sale eventually and someone will buy it.
So then what happens? Do they apply for the FEMA buyout?
No, can't. Has to be the person that occupied it.
So do you think anybody would wanna buy a house that was?
Depends on the property.
If the land is good.
Knock it down and
Roll
rebuild.
the dice, I guess, huh?
I mean, the reality of it is a lot of houses they're taking buyouts. If they were knocked down and they were redone and mitigated, they could probably stay there. You know, raising elevation and stuff.
Yeah.
But
A little bit of dirt, a little bit of concrete.
a little bit, a lot of concrete. All right, thank you, Linda. Thank you. Glad we missed this. BJ.
So we hit upon two things. First, the tech group, sent out an email today letting you guys know a way to redo your passwords. You're gonna want your password before the changeover in the email. Because you'll see it pop up asking you for a password. If you don't have it, just follow directions in that email. We have 3 employees that do our work, but are town also. So after discussion, we figured it would be more efficient to keep them with the town email and to do generic emails. What that means is we'll attach a generic email. For example, Lydia will be tax@Village of Johnson. So our residents that are dealing with tax questions can send email to that, and it will go right to Lydia. Clerk at Village of Johnson will go to Rosemary, and customer service at Village of Johnson will go to Marla. This will all be active as of Thursday
8 o'clock.
Thursday, 8 o'clock. So get your email or your password before then.
Okay, so I put a break on it to make sure everyone has their passwords done, you know, staff wise.
So like as I was telling you and you today, I don't have my password. I searched for 4 hours, can't find it
Right.
because it's back when Meredith was here and it's no longer in my email. So it's in my personal email. So his directions say to go to Microsoft and log in. Well, I can't log in without my password.
Yeah, he knows 90% of people don't have it. Because Meredith and everybody created them for us. That way if you look in the bottom, it's his email or his phone number. And we can just give him a call and he'll help us with that.
You mean your current password?
Current passwords.
Mhm.
I got mine, but I know a lot of them are created by other people.
Yeah.
So he understands that.
people that have log in, so I have the password, but I don't have it.
Okay, he understands, people will be.
Okay, that's why I was confused on the email, is that he tells you to go to Microsoft Office and log in, well, you need your password to log into Microsoft Office.
Yeah.
So I
That's
can't
the-
log in if I don't know my
Right, right.
password.
No, that's for people that, that have it, like I have
Okay.
mine, so we'll do that, and the people that don't will end up calling him.
Yeah.
And he'll take care of it. So that will be active as of 8 o'clock Thursday morning, we will have Village of Johnson emails. Okay, website. So right now, we are almost done the information part of the website with hopes in March to start design. We have not started on design. We are just poking in information on, basically, we're working on the 3 pages, the fire department, the wastewater and the village crew. After that, we're hoping in March, we'll start with the design. And then after we get the design, then we will start working on filling in the gaps with information like forms and things like that. Come to the board, have the board suggestions on what needs to be on. It'll be all that finalizing, but we're hoping fall well, if everything goes well, be active in May. We still got a ways to go. There's a lot more than I.
So that's why when you go look at the temporary site, it looks silly.
Yeah, yeah.
I understand that. Well, it's more confusing than our old.
No, right now it's just placeholders.
Yep.
It's just a placeholder. We got a long ways to go still with the design part of it. And that's it.
Perfect. Any questions for BJ?
No, thanks, brother, because.
Yeah.
It's waving on what I would do.
All right. Our fun.
The fun part, all right, so good, you get your big packets. So, budget highlights. Say, the good. Total employee compensation, that's your wages, social security, retirement contributions from the village. Is down over 83,000 from last year. This is due to, one's a staff cut and then a change from a first class lineman to a early apprentice. In face of a greater than 20% rate increase, village health insurance contributions are down $9,700 from 2024. That's partially from, those same staff things and from, contract changes. Dental's down $942 from 2024, also same reasons. The bad. Workers' comp is 72% higher than it should be due to what they call the X mod, experience mod, because of repetitive injuries by a former employee. Those injuries rotate off the billing 3 years after the claim. So one of the big ones should be gone next budget and the other one in 27. Those injuries are costing us over $18,000 this year alone. So I'm working with VLCT to, minimize that as much as possible, but the underwriters they've got their formulas. So we're
Tell them just deduct it from what they didn't give us on our sewer treatment plant.
the ugly. The 2023 flood left our utilities with fewer users to pay for increasing costs. While we're seeing growth in both commercial and residential areas, those promising projects are still developing and not helping with rates yet.
We see commercial and or residential having any impact in 25.
Some, I mean. Oh, in budget year 25, it'd be close, not much. I mean, like for instance,
The only thing moving in is the store, right?
right, the store, well, there's,
That's not.
Grand Make's still got apartments coming online.
yeah, there's apartments going online and railroad, on both ends of railroad, well, there's the ones in railroad that he's doing, there's other end of railroad they're planning. Chatro's got some planning up there near Jenna's. The Woolen Mill has their big restaurant and such, that's not gonna be 25, but it's all coming. you know, it's
I
just,
just was curious, if any,
just saying
if
there's,
any of it was, you know, ready for brick and mortar, if it was all mathematical at this point.
yeah, there's light in the tunnel, but there's
It's a
no
long tunnel.
long go.
Gotcha.
Yep. So the next page is just showing you what I've showed you, I already briefed you on salaries being, you know, down from last year. And the following page is the breakdown of insurance being down from last year. And then we'll get into the meat of it here. So kind of doing it backwards this year, just because.
Just speaking on something.
Well, no, because the apples don't look as bad as, a lot of times don't look as bad as the raw percentages sometimes. So we're gonna show the apples first, I guess. So here's with proposed rate increases for water and wastewater. The average residential users will see between a $10 and $16 increase in their bill
That per month or per
per
year?
month. Per month. Yeah,
And this is for,
water and sewer together. That's the actual difference.
so if your bill was generally in the sixties, you're gonna go up $10.
Correct.
Being in the eighties, you're gonna be up 13, 14.
Yep. And $100 bill would be up $16.
16%.
Yep.
So this rate increase is not gonna fix this, right? This is just a stopgap between where it's gonna finally land.
No, this puts us on track for water and wastewater.
Yeah. After the rebuild and the difference between.
Right. I mean, it may be a little bit behind because we always end up with, you know. We have to wait for we have to wait for 30 days and such, so we have the gap, there's a little bit of lag, so we may be a little behind, but I originally was forecasting, 1 to 2% of growth in my numbers, and I took that out, so kind of.
So when was the last increase for water and sewer?
Last year.
Last year.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
The first increase in several years.
What you're saying is after construction is done and stuff like that, other than. Operating costs going up, stuff like that, this increase should account for.
Well, it gets us on, I mean, incremental increases annually as, everything else goes up have to happen. I mean. Fuel goes up,
Oh, yeah, no.
stuff like that, basically,
But percentage wise, those things are small.
yeah, 2, 3, 4% increases should happen on a regular basis. Otherwise you get behind the curve. Just because everything else in the whole world goes up that.
Well,
Otherwise you are negatively funding.
odds are it's gonna just ride along and pretty much like this without any major increase, because there's gonna be no construction stairs down there this year.
Well, no,
Right, right, it's one of those things, it's like. Electricity goes up, fuel goes up, chemical cost goes up. If you don't have an incremental increase, you have a reduction.
That thing's gonna run as is for 3 more before.
Yeah, I'm planning, we're down it for at least 3 years, regardless of what happens.
Before, right.
Right,
Minimum 3 years.
Right.
As is.
Right.
And this year's not so bad, but maybe some duplicate things that we may look at down the road of having. That we
So
don't
that's
have right
2 to
now.
3 more years of hauling sludge every week. It's. All these extras that are gonna keep coming in, and eventually them won't be there. And eventually we'll get some of it back.
As far as the operating costs, who knows, 3 years from now when you get running, that's.
Now, we do regularly get reimbursements for the sludge and stuff.
irregularly,
So,
Irregular.
so we've gotten a check so far.
yes,
Once.
yeah,
But that's
Yeah.
where.
Yep, but it's all been accounted for and it's, we'll get the checks. It's just that. Yeah,
It's a slow process.
it is a slow process. And FEMA, as slow as they are not as slow as the state of Vermont. So
They're pretty quick to take money.
they're great at taking, they're fast at taking money. Yeah. They're fast at taking money. So, all right, yeah, now that's the kind of the shakedown. We'll get into the actual line by lines now. Water budget. So, see the revenues. Water side is actually worse off than wastewater. We're suggesting 19% water rate increase.
That was last year for
About that.
or 3 or something. Somewhere in there,
What's that?
last year we went up 4.3.
Yeah, I think it was, what, 10% between the two of them, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the elephant in the room is the college usage is down $500,000 a month. Right, from what it was, yeah, when you go out per gallon. It's huge.
Right.
Well, I said what I said in the beginning.
Yeah, we still have to have all the infrastructure to get them water.
Continuous hit over and over and over off that college and they just do not care.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how they cannot care.
So the increase in water sales is the increase in revenue is not because of volume, it's because of the increase in.
That's 100% rate increase right there.
Okay.
Yep, I'm hoping for some increases in sales, but I'm not counting on it.
Right. Is there any reason to believe that the sales volume would go down?
No. Not unless we have another flood and take out more people.
Right, obviously can't do, but I'm just saying, as far as there's no other businesses that are shutting down that are large users or something.
I don't see the college going less than they are now.
Right, and I see,
That potentially could be a bonus if they.
Right. I mean, I see a small amount coming from the general store. I see probable increased usage by the weed farm. You know, whatever, there's stuff here and there.
So the college, we haven't heard anything, you wouldn't, but we haven't heard anything as far as their nursing program they were talking about up there. As far as
They're
increasing
moving
numbers.
forward with the nursing program, so there's a $3 million investment. What's gonna amount for us, but.
But that will give them more volume, there'll be more campus,
Mike,
maybe.
I thought a lot of that was
It's also
gonna be
based-
online though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's well split between 2 colleges here and then.
Yeah, but they have to do clinicals, and they're setting up to do that. So that will help.
Clinicals will be at the hospital, all right?
They're setting it up, they're setting up.
$3 million.
I wanna say the top is Upper Martinet. Can't remember, but anyway, they're
Okay,
trying to set up something like that.
so.
But that'd just be come in for a week or something to do the hands-on part, right? After you do all those.
They
It won't be like a
probably daily.
residential.
Like,
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's.
so I see near term, I see very minor growth.
okay,
Yeah.
but no projected deficits, right?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So. Reserve capacity charge. Reserve capacity charge is basically your water applications. Capital reserve fund. We're taking $1,500 from that. For the finishing of the outstanding Katie Wind pump house projects that Dan's crew took care of last year. Came in way under budget with a phenomenal product. A lot of that has to do with the fact that Tim is great at sweating copper.
Yeah, we did have to hire a bit of the moment up there, which saved us, considerably, so.
Oh, hell yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Just a reminder.
Paying you
just a
guys
reminder
anyway,
that
if there's someone else, it's on top of
The
that.
engineering report we had, that was $192,000.
I remember.
Yeah, yeah. They were saying 192. Dan said he could do it 35, and he did it for 23.
Yeah, and the That's just for paint, things like that, that we just couldn't get done this fall, so.
Yep.
Minor touch up stuff.
Did you already did the rot repair, the floor, the roof,
Yep,
put the new,
insulation,
yeah.
all the plumbing,
Good job.
Heat,
yeah, heat.
upgraded heat. Yeah, came out great. For a lot less money.
No, they were supposed to be done 8 months before that, and there was a flood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to wait a little bit.
Yeah. So operating revenue shows us down, but that's because we're also not taking $30,000 in capital reserves because we did that last year. Okay. Distribution system labor, as you see, last year was massive. Well, we had a very unique water break year last year. I don't see it happening again.
We had a lot of breaks actually last year for.
That's what my water break year. We had
Yeah.
many water breaks. Which this system tends not to have one water break every 3 or 4 years.
She's getting older. She's
Still-
not quite
still-
the young pup
Still
anymore.
newer than most.
Yeah, I just said, she's
Yeah.
not quite the young pup anymore.
Yep. So
And our lines are under how much PSI?
Depends where you're at.
100-ish.
Yeah, 100-ish.
Yeah, and also we had labor associated with the Main Street paving job, bringing up our furniture to meet their, their paving levels, water valve boxes and all that stuff.
Bring it down and up. Back and forth, down and up.
Yeah. So working with Moose.
He's a unit.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Seeing the Social Security match and all that stuff was high last year, same reason. All those were basically percentage of salaries, what you go, that's why those were all high. Yeah. Outside contracted services, we had 53,000 last year in revenue because it was a grant for the lead and copper survey. So that's complete, paid out.
Line 64, read on the page yet.
Line 64, I haven't got down there yet, but we're getting there. Actually, no, I'm sorry. See. Actually, yeah, I'm sorry, I was saying great. Yeah. So the grant was up top, the expenses down here in line 53. That was for the lead and copper survey, which was complete and approved by the state. Electricity.
That was one of the hits you're talking about in testing.
No, that's budget. That's further down. Further down. Last year was 6. But so let's see. Electricity's been pretty trackable. Phone, heat, insurance. The percentages were shifted around, and well, we're getting part of that's the hit for a certain person who shall remain nameless.
So,
Insurance went up.
so the budget, 64, the budget in 22 was 15,800. Actuals for last year was 6, and we're budgeting
Right.
14 again this year.
Right. Part of that is the change in our insurance bill, part of it. And the other part was shifting which department gets what percentage to make it more realistic to the actual percentage of, because you're splitting insurance bill over 4 departments.
So the insurance is not,
That property insurance or that?
Here, I'll show you. Go over there. Insurance breakout by department.
I'll go down, they shorted it.
So here we go.
$4 million.
You have to go down to, you have to go to this, you have to look at the screen. Water, you know, with all the insurances. There's water right there.
so this is insurance on labor, not, this
This
is
is
not,
insurance on people's, yeah,
okay, all right.
yeah.
This is our percentage of all of it.
Long disability, dental, health, all of it.
Oh, okay.
All of it.
Yeah, not saying I like it, but still.
Yeah. Okay. Building supplies is kind of a one we don't spend put too much into because it's more usually spend more building supplies in general because they own most of the buildings. Building maintenance. This is adding 20% of the village cut of the municipal building AC that I told you was in the budget. There it is, along with almost the same amount, 20%, almost the same amount from guesstimate of what the clock tower is going to cost.
So we're paying the 20%, they're paying 80.
No, this is 20%. This is 20% of our 50%. Yeah.
In this budget.
So basically,
Next budget, I'll have to get
so I've got our 50% broken down as 50% electric, 20 water, 20 sewer, 10 general.
I mean. Straight up, I don't foresee anybody jumping on that clock tower this year anyway, even if we get. A thing going on it.
Maybe not,
Perhaps, but
maybe not.
no, I just, well, you're putting it in there like we discussed, so.
And a question with all the unknowns with the AC or the building. You said that they're talking to the select
Right.
board. Is this something that we may not end up doing if all that? goes
Possible.
through?
Yeah,
Yeah, it depends on when they're planning on installing.
right.
The AC wasn't done when they did all the work with the plug.
But it just died at the end of the heating season, of the cooling season last fall. And it was far enough away that people was like, yeah,
And that totally contradicts everything they told us when they're.
right. But there was also a town project, not a village project, so there wasn't Eric's foot involved, so. I don't know.
Can't fix it now.
The life is short because of flood damage.
Mhm.
So that, I learned, you throw every freaking thing out
Yeah,
next time.
yeah.
You don't save a thing.
It was underwater. No.
If it was underwater, toss it.
Water, whatever.
Yes.
Lied through their teeth.
Yeah.
The slick dude with the tie and the Chevy.
Yeah,
Lied through his teeth.
yeah, he did. Yep. Where you at, Will?
I'm good now.
Okay. Going on down to operating expenses. Outside testing is gonna be up because we have water tests, so there's annual testing. Then there's testing that's once every 3 years, and there's testing that's once every 9 years. The 3 and the 9 years are both hitting this year. Okay, so. Yeah. Contracted services is the awesome work done by Dan, Tim, and Luke. That's the water cut of it. Permits and fees are pretty static. Supplies and chemicals. We bumped it up just a hair because things always cost more. Distribution system maintenance. You'll see last year was back to the water, it's all the water break materials and everything else. It was an outlier. We're going back to what, because if you look at the 2023 actuals, we only spent $1,300. You know,
In water maintenance.
right? Because it's a pretty good system. We just had a weird year.
then it was the only thing that you didn't get hit by the flood.
Right, right,
Right.
exactly.
Was that from frozen pipes?
No,
No.
no, one of them, you don't do that, it's expensive, it's very restricting, but
Yeah.
one getting done is what it is.
Yeah, when you dig in the middle of the state highway. And there's a bunch of concrete and everything else, it gets expensive quick.
That's
Yep. Parts and supplies pretty static, say repair work. Is. We have a SCADA fix, I did have. Over 12,000 this line item, but with the grant and. You know. Sweet talking Dan into limping that generator along, we cut that down. Cause
So the generator won't start on its own.
it takes an hour
It
of,
takes some manipulation to get it to run, but we've always been able to get it to run.
right,
We also have 3 days worth of storage in the reservoir.
Yeah.
The longest power we've had down there, it's been several years since we've had it down
as long as no plan.
there. And we have the electric department that knows that that's a
right,
priority, so, you know, I feel pretty comfortable that we can live.
yep. So. Yeah, all this is kind of piddly stuff here. And then we get down to the loan costs, which. Stay standard. So, we come out with a revenue of $31 if everything goes as the magic 8 ball says it should. With any luck, we'll be further black than that, but our luck hasn't always been great lately. What's that?
Better live by worst case scenario than.
Right, that's what I originally was putting in a little estimated growth, and I was like, no, I'd rather be happy with it, and I took it out. Any questions on water? Okay, on to wastewater. But it's formatted very similarly, so, and they have a lot of similar issues. So here we're looking at a 719, we're looking at a 14% rate increase. And you know, it's a lot of this has to do with the fact that we just have less people using water.
Do you have your calculations like you did on the other one?
On which,
Telling us how much is $60 each one?
well, that was for both. That was all of that was all of the above. That was a water and sewer bill together.
Okay,
30.
okay, so you're talking, yeah.
So that's a water and sewer bill, $10 to $16 difference per month for,
And that's
Both of
with a 19% increase and a 14%.
right,
So 33 compared to the 10 last
Doesn't
year,
make
right?
sense.
We did 10,
For
our
both.
increase last year was 10 for both, this year we're doing 33 for both.
if you look at that way,
32,
I mean, it's,
So what
this one's 14%, the other one was 19,
40% on the wastewater?
correct,
19% on the water.
right.
So so basically it came out to about 16.
Come out about 16 because wastewater costs more.
That's where I was at. So you're 14 and
Right.
19.
Right, they're not exact, they're not the
2%
same,
higher. Right, it's not 50-50 split.
No.
So,
right,
So your operating costs.
yeah, wastewater costs more,
Okay,
that's why you can't just do a direct math on that.
no,
Yep. So, you know, incomes are pretty much, delinquent accounts are about the same. Applications, they kept pretty close to the same. Flood reimbursements, I shot real low. You know, we'll probably get a lot more than that. I like being pleasantly surprised.
So, no, I thought you said, the delinquent accounts.
Delinquent accounts. Yep,
So we have $1,800 in delinquent accounts for this year alone.
correct. That's interest. That's the interest when they pay late. That's revenue.
Okay.
It's, you pay late, you pay more, and that's, you know, it's been,
so one,
I think it's 1%.
1%.
you know.
You wouldn't forget.
And then I wanted to ask you, are our sewer and water hookup application fees standard rating with everybody?
There's no such thing as standard.
All right, are they compatible
We're
or
low.
competitive with?
We're
others?
low.
How low and how much?
I have to do some looking around to see what, in this area. I haven't done that research. But
Yeah, no, I don't wanna raise rates and stuff and fees on people, but.
They vary, I mean, like when I was in Heinsberg, they were a lot.
I'm not, you know,
But that's,
we wouldn't have to look that way, you'd have to look at a kind
right,
of
exactly,
economical area.
Right.
What matches ours.
yeah, look at, you know. If we look at Cambridge and Hyde Park and,
Hardwick and
yeah,
check, I would look into that, I mean,
yeah,
we're bleeding out every hole. So if it
Yeah.
costs you a little bit to hook up compared to. Looking at people and telling them their bill's gonna go up.
Being a one-time fee.
Just because we found out we were really low on a lot of stuff compared to other towns.
oh yeah,
So it's
Yeah.
just something to look at.
we are low, and it's been on the list of things to look at.
Bump it up a notch.
Yeah, just breathing and sleeping is somewhere in there too.
Oh, that's what your bottle was for. I saw the picture.
Talk to Scott too, because they're running into a problem in Morrisville is that they'll have a 2-inch meter feeding a 56 unit building and the hookup fee is for the 2-inch meter. Even though it's feeding 56 residential units. So they're talking about changing their whole system to,
I know.
they're getting that revenue.
Per
based on
unit.
That's why they built,
56 units.
Right,
that's why they built all those.
Of course, I don't
So
necessarily,
that's why the developers put in 1 meter.
I want to be
So-
lower than Morrisville because
That's
they've
right.
got more to offer.
Right.
No, I know, but I mean, but just
But it
make
was
sure you're
also
covering
cheaper.
that aspect of it.
Your
Right.
point is if there's an apartment building and Ken comes with a house, or am I paying the same amount as that apartment building hook up to your
Exactly.
water?
Yeah,
Right.
And.
That's not fair.
And you were in Morrisville.
It's not.
well, that's what all those.
And it's not how it is here. It's all based on your state projected usage. So there's a whole chart the state does, you know, it's like 140 gallons per bedroom and this many gallons per chair at a restaurant and this many, you know, there's a whole formula. But that we go by for that billing. But what we charge for that, what we go by is really low. So,
Like I said, I would just look at that.
so we do make it fair from size to size. It's just very low,
It's a per gallon,
right?
that makes sense. But as
Per
far as
gallon of
actually-
him,
As far as actually installing the meter. The work is the same, whether you're installing the meter, but your application fees and stuff like that can be by volume.
right,
Sure.
right. They're by volume of your allocated volume, not necessarily what you use, but
Right. Obviously, the application is what
Right.
you're allocated X amount of gallons and that's gonna be
Right.
that. But if we're running one line, putting 1 meter on, I don't give a shit if it goes to 1 house or 30 houses. If it's a meter, it's that, it costs that much to put that meter
right.
in my opinion.
Well, depending on the size of the meter,
Right, yeah, right.
right.
You know, but, yeah, I could be about that volume thing, you know,
Right, they were charging the same size, no matter what size the meter was.
Oh, okay.
That's what.
Yeah.
okay,
Well, see, we
that
don't-
makes more sense.
So that-
We have a $1,000 connection fee.
Right.
Okay, and that's basically to cover our inspection and all that stuff. And it will cover a 3/4 inch meter and check valve.
Right.
If you are a larger service, you still pay the same connection fee, but you buy your own meter and you buy the one we tell you to.
All right.
Those big meters get really expensive.
That's a real quick.
Yep.
Especially now.
Yes. Yep.
All right. I think we'd be done.
Okay, so. Well, we're gonna pull $12,000 out of reserves for the slip lining project that you guys approved last year for slip lining mains. And we're doing that. We're coordinating with Morrisville to get savings on that. There's only,
Happening shortly.
you know, it's only.
They're just trying to fit it in when this
Yeah.
night works, so it's.
Yeah, they're only gonna charge one deployment fee to come to both us and Morrisville, so.
This is why they're putting their liners in their sewage line.
They do it all in one day?
Yeah, we're doing just one section on Main Street this year.
Uh-huh.
There was 3 sections that were identified that need
That need to be done.
attention. the state hasn't come down and told us we have to fix them, but it's coming, so we're trying to be proactive. So we're gonna do this one this year. If we do one each year, you know, and they're gonna be roughly about the same price each year, so.
So you're pulling from the reserve fund, or you're putting anything back in the reserve?
I'm not, because I got a 14% increase. I'm the biggest proponent of funding reserves,
I know.
and I flat hate that I'm not suggesting funding reserves, but
I hated that you were pulling from it and not funding it.
yeah, I agree. I do too. I really do.
Thank God we funded it last year, for the first year, how long?
Right, yeah, no, they didn't fund it before, and I started the funding of reserves. Yeah. So. Let's see.
So total revenue.
Total revenue,
Down to.
you're looking at a lot of FEMA money on those.
Yeah, I know the actuals and stuff like that, but
Right.
you're budgeted. So the amount of users.
If you look at the,
Is that is primarily the college? Is that the significant difference between the budget for 24 and 25 as far as total revenue?
no, a lot of that is budgeted, hold on. Getting the insurance proceeds I knew were coming in. FEMA reimbursement, so there's, between those two, there's $500,000,
Okay,
you know. Yeah,
so
yeah. Because the water. Yeah, I just.
so this total revenue includes some.
Cause like, for instance, I revenue, so I had $440,000. Budgeted for FEMA reimbursements in 2024, we changed the line item for it in the middle of 24.
Okay, all right, okay, I'm on track now. And then go back to 23 and then go up to before, okay. Thank you, I got it.
Just a whole lot of flood.
To get on the right path.
Yeah, flood related, and it doesn't help that, you know, we took the FEMA reimbursements from line 94 and then moved it up to line 10, you know.
Yeah, no, I got you.
But it, yeah,
All right.
that's just how it worked out.
All right.
And you go down to O&M, 30. The collection system labor is down just a hair because I recalculated where things were going. And put it back where it was previously, basically. Administrative salaries is up just a hair. You match up just a hair. Same with retirement. Insurances is down just a bit. Because we actually take insurance is down a bit because the village crews labor is more on water than wastewater because of water breaks and all that stuff.
Right.
So the personnel insurance is more on water than wastewater.
CTO and holiday. Is that somewhere else?
That's in salary.
Okay.
So it didn't make your, you know, it's all part of salary. You know, you're getting paid those dollars whether you're here or you're not here. So it just makes it easier to follow.
And they get paid out at the end of the year, the whole thing, to where it brings them back down to zero? Well, CTO.
Well, CTO is, you know, just you're getting paid, but you know you worked over, but then you just didn't work on this day, so it doesn't change the dollars out.
It goes out to zero. in the end.
Right,
That's
exactly.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, is there a cap on what they can carry over every year or?
Yes, CTO, you can only carry 2 weeks, 1 or 2
No,
weeks.
1.5 times.
No,
Here.
Are
Are you talking comp time?
I'm sorry, yeah, CTO is vacation.
Right.
And that is 1.5, you can carry over 1.5 times what you earn. So if you earn, 15 days a year.
Yeah.
You can carry, what, 27.5 days?
So you're putting all those days into salary as if they were taking the whole thing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's their salary is your salary. Yep. Because otherwise, then you're like, okay, there's only this much salary, and then it's like. It's a lot easier to follow if you put it all together.
No, it's not.
No,
None of it is easy to follow.
no, it's still not easy to follow, but
So. Now, it makes it difficult just because you're mixing 4 different things in 4 different budgets. Right.
exactly. And if you go to, if you go to here. So here's,
The line.
here, this, down the bottom, this is all by departments though, but if you look at, this. The total wages by department, then you go up and you can see about what percentage of those is CTO and about what percentage of those is holiday. Well, I guess. CTO and holidays together. Sorry, CTO and holidays together, so. That's just give you an idea. It's about 15% of your wage is CTO and holiday. Roughly.
Like going back up.
This is. And this is one of those ones that's just gonna confuse you if you don't work it, but I decided to show it because it had the CTO and holiday in it.
Oh, okay. We're off script.
This is part of what I used to build the budget.
We're off script.
Yeah,
Okay. There we go.
where were we?
56.
56, thank you. So electricity, we bumped just a hair because, well, it was always cost more. And we happen to know there's an electric rate increase coming. So. Sorry. Phone is down from budget. Well, that was a nice plus. Heat is, well, it's harder to heat a place that doesn't have any insulation in it.
I mean, they said there was nothing wrong with it.
Right. Yep. Insurance is up just a hair. Building maintenance is up. Same reason as water, same reason you'll see, in a couple of weeks. It's
What's the mowing in there? That's
just for anything we need for lawnmower and it's like.
Eric will take care of it.
and I think Will was in the bathroom for the building maintenance. So that big number is because it's 20% of the 50% that the village pays.
Yeah, I caught that.
Yeah, okay. 6% of the time, it works every time. Hey, don't laugh on that. Consultant expenses last year. That was for the what was it, feasibility study that Alderson Elliott did. That's gonna be, that should actually been probably down in the 60s line item for FEMA, because it's a FEMA expense. Although actually it's not, it's a grant covered.
grant.
It's fully grant covered. It's a grant covered expense. Yeah, we decided to grant that one because FEMA's paying part and the grant paid all. Outside contracting services is the wastewater portion of Dan and Company. And everything else is pretty much kind of tracking along just a hair over last year because everything was just a hair over last year.
Did it say Dan was dropping his rate for next contract?
Yeah, that's,
You're getting a steal right now.
There's a- yeah, he does. Yeah, he
Just
does.
so you know, Darrell, too, we're in year 3 of a 5-year contract.
Yeah, it actually, we get 2 more years.
2% per year increase,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
When
through.
inflation was 11%, they only paid 2% more for us.
So we are getting a wicked deal.
So
We were getting a wicked
we'll
deal.
make up for it in 2 more years, but you know.
But we like you.
So yeah, you're fixed for with us for 2 more years.
Yeah. Whoops.
You better have your budget on, budget track, because he's gonna take the rest of it.
Yep, there's where the slip lining comes back out. Capital reserve puts it in, that takes it out.
Capital equipment,
Capital equipment, where are we at?
101,
Huh?
101.
101, capital equipment reserve fund.
So we budgeted 62.5.
I thought I'd taken that out.
That was the belt press and stuff, weren't it?
No,
No, this way.
In 24.
I thought I'd taken that out. I could drop a couple percent if we took it out.
Again, capital equipment reserve funds, wonderful idea.
Yep.
If, I mean, obviously, but I'm more at this point concerned or questioning. A specific. Is there a specific item that we know has got a shelf life? And a replacement date and a total figure to go with it. To justify 62,000 at this.
I think most of that was the press, weren't it, Dan?
No, this is just to fund.
No,
This is-
but we
this-
put the fund in for the press because it was.
No, that was back in 20, before the flood.
Mhm.
That was in 22, we did that.
Yeah, so this is,
Right,
this
but
is
right,
24.
as the flood happened, you had another 20 grand you wanted to do something, belt or something.
Right, which we didn't end up doing.
Right.
Necessarily, but
But we were putting money in that for the.
that was pre this. This is, he started putting into the capital reserve last year. And he's got it in there again for this year, which he didn't think he did.
But it looks like it wasn't funded last year.
It was budgeted, but we didn't take it because our budget.
Because it didn't have the money.
Right.
So, but currently it's in,
Yeah,
And
I
this year's
really thought I
budget.
pulled it out, but I obviously did not. So
so I mean,
do we want to remove it?
that's my question. So do we have, I mean, obviously, if we put money in, we're gonna have it, but I'm just questioning the 62,500, just a.
I mean,
Specific number. But I'm just wondering if there's a budgetary reason for equipment down the road. That generated that specific number.
no, that was a percentage of budget. It was I forget what the percentage was I was going off of, but I was going off a percentage of budget to try to build reserves in order to not have to bond.
On and borrow, yeah.
I mean, I'd love to give you an answer to that, Will, but honestly, down there, I don't know for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Right, yeah, that's
What's,
all.
yeah, we are literally, we have one of everything, we have two of nothing, But it's all new, the equipment's new, so the odds of failure are slim.
Right,
Can it happen? Can we blow a VFD, $3,000 easily, I mean, that happens, so, I don't know.
so what piece of equipment down there would you be most nervous about saying it'll last 2 years? No problems.
That will last, or that I might have issues with within 2 years?
Which, I'm gonna say, if you said everything's good, okay, let's just assume everything in there is good. Which piece of equipment do you go,
The blower.
I hate to say that for 2 years.
The blowers should last 2 years, but if we lose a blower and we go down, we're in a bad spot.
And blowers are how much?
15 grand.
15? And chances of more than one going down,
Slim to none.
slim to none.
The one bonus of things is,
So-
we can get them relatively like full night almost, right?
So given our budgetary issues at this time,
That 60.
So if I was to, but fund,
62,000 that was in there in 24,
did not get funded.
it was in there, right, in the budget,
but it was not taken out. It was not used.
so it's carried over.
No,
No, it's just not there.
just not there.
The money didn't, we didn't have the money.
Well, how do we? Okay, so you wrote it down and we didn't fund it.
Correct.
Nah,
Correct.
that's a
So-
different story.
I would, I apologize for that county error. If we were to fund that capital reserves at $4,484. We would have a 0% sewer rate increase.
I'd like to see it $20,000.
Yeah, you gotta at least cover the blower, like Dan was saying.
That's really the biggest item that makes me nervous.
Right, I mean, anything can happen, but I just wanted your professional, you know, this is the, whoa.
I mean, if that happened, one of the SDRs is down, you know,
Right.
you're off one.
Right.
If it's in the springtime, we're in a bad spot with flows.
I mean, I'd be okay with 62, it's just that, you know, it's not the great year for it, we also can't leave ourselves hanging. So I think with your number. If we go, I'd be okay with the $20,000 capital reserve fund set up. Hopefully it'll roll over to next year and it'll help projects down the road, but for this year, I'd like to be able to see why.
That makes me feel comfortable
I mean,
that deal.
I wanna look at it this way, so if we put it down on paper, is it gonna be in there when we don't use it?
It depends if the funds come in.
That's the crystal ball question right there.
So basically, it's two things. One, it's a capital reserve. If we don't need it, we don't use it. And it's also a cushion in case income falls short. That's the first thing that's going to take a hit.
Exactly.
So it serves two purposes. It's over $20,000 shortfall in income then, but we also have no increase of usage factored into this thing. So if there's any of that, we should be able to cover the biggest problem is going to be if there's expenses in here that come in that they're not virtually budgeted for, but that's every year, no matter what. Well, my thought is $20,000. Is there another number out there or something different? Keep
At $20,000, we'll have a increase of 5%.
So factor that 5 into the 14, 19.
Well, so you take it, well, yeah,
Is that
that's in wastewater, so instead of 14%, it's 5%.
right? So what does that make the total factor with water and sewer?
24.
Well, no,
It can be 24.
it's an average.
It'd be less than 16. So if you're looking at 1/3, so you're talking reduction from.
It would take me a little bit of time.
Yeah.
To produce the better bill, but
But you're probably looking at somewhere around, I'm trying to think, 12 and a half, something like that versus the 16.
at the most, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
at the most, if not better.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's kind of worst case scenario, so, but I don't know. Chair, take over, I'm done talking.
I'm advocated to Eric, I want reserve funds. I don't want them written down and not funded, because then it's not a reserve. It's not,
If there's no revenue, you can't fund it.
well, I understand, but. We haven't had a budget this balanced since I've been on this board. We've used ARPA money 2 years ago. I don't want to keep doing that. We gotta figure out some stuff so that if eventually we have to plan for some of these catastrophes that happen. You know, plan, but have some spare funding in there so that we're not taking out bonds in the middle of the year again.
So you want to leave the 62?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I've been an advocate. Eric's heard it from me several times. And we both justify it talking. You know, we run into so much stuff in the last 2 years where there was absolutely no money and there should have been money sitting there to be able to do something with something.
I mean,
I understand we only can bring in so much money.
I like, and Will's thought of $20,000 for
Yeah.
this year.
I'm not opposed to it. I just said, I'm all about funding some of this stuff so that stuff can keep moving, even though there's a flood. We got behind so bad in the last couple of years, and it's not just because of the flood. It's because of not being proactive and realizing times change, shit costs more. The state charges us more, the grocery stores charge us more, I have to charge Diane more. It's right, you know what I mean? It's just the truth of the matter. We can't.
Fund being separate is like a separate thing, period, it doesn't get touched unless you need it for an emergency.
That's what a reserve fund should be.
That's what it should be, but if you don't have the money to fund it, then that's, this theoretical bank over here still sits at 0.
But we've tried funding it for a couple of years
Well, it's hard. with
And it's
the
not-
economy the way-
It's not there at any point, and it's money. But
Well, I have a question. Last year we did the increases with the intentions of we were gonna be pretty high. That way we could do less the years after, correct? Was it by the intention last year?
that's,
It didn't work.
I don't think it wasn't pretty high, it was to keep us moving forward. Like
Well, it was higher than previously they've been doing it.
To catch up.
the rates hadn't been brought up to where they should have been for a long time.
So that's what I'm saying, last year was the increase, but then before that, it
Which is an increase.
had been a while, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I
So,
will say,
well, there are minimums.
I'm a lot more comfortable with this year's budget than I was last year.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I mean, I think
I'm
this
not
is-
fighting it, I'm just.
we're putting out a better number hopefully this year than we did last year. There was just
there's
so
so
many
many
unknowns
unknowns. Oh my
last year.
God.
that It was a nightmare.
Well, I just remember you saying, well, we need to do some work on the press, and then you come back and it was 3 times that. And we didn't have fun, you know what I mean, so then we're stealing our ARPA funds, which was
Yeah.
for the garage at the time, you know what I mean, so. That's all I'm trying to do is make sure that we be proactive some. From
I
what we-
guarantee I won't put a penny into that press this year.
so, all right, so,
And then I'm not trying to change your number, I'm just.
well, I'm just trying to find where you're at. So just to muddy the waters,
Well, you won't.
find my stick to stir the mud. Where the hell to go?
And again, don't get me wrong, I don't need water and sewer in this building,
I guess, I mean,
I understand it.
the 5 is one thing, but that is
Yes. The 5 what?
the 5% increase is one thing, but the 19 is.
Yeah, but you.
No, no, it's not
gotta back
19,
up the
it's 16.
numbers He was showing us in the beginning, that's both of them together.
It's 16, it's
You're gonna
16%.
get a $60 bill, your bill went up $10.
Yeah, it's a
It's both.
16%
It's
increase.
not one.
But with this, if you remove the 62,000 altogether, okay, we're gonna drop below the 16% increase. But we can't afford to do that. We can't afford it. We can't afford to get rid of that altogether.
Total increase.
So it's 19 on, so it's 19 on
Well, it's not.
the sewer side
Water,
Yeah.
Water side.
Percentage.
and
Yes,
14.
the number.
and with the 20,000 be 5% on the sewer,
If that's what you pay.
and the sewer is double,
That's how much it's going.
double the cost, more than double the cost.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be more towards the 5 than the 19.
And I get it, it's a lot.
Right, so that's
Yeah, but you
5,
gotta-
and that's gonna be 16, it's down
But I get it.
3, so about.
You'll have to.
half
I
the
gotta
difference.
push it all through the formulas to get the exact
Right, but our.
So at 20,000, there's a 5% increase, is that right?
correct on wastewater. yeah.
Right,
I think it was like $8. The bill with this intent has been 18 the past 2 years.
Well, I think we went up 10% last year, is that what you were saying there? Roughly. For both.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was in the like $8 and something.
Well, you don't add them together though, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You actually average them.
Yes,
Yeah.
So, you know, you say this plus this, that's not correct.
no, I get that. I said-
Is that plus S divided
In
by
this right here where you're showing, say, for $63, it's a $10.16 increase.
for your
well,
total,
last
for your
year-
total bill?
Right.
right,
Last year it was this, when you were showing us that it was with whatever the total was, it was like $8 and something, if I remember right.
so to make it simple, $100 bill goes up $16, makes it a 16%, 16
Right.
point something percent increase. If we drop this down to $20,000 to give us some either slush fund or capital reserve, whatever it turns out to be, hopefully it's a capital reserve fund, and that $20,000 is sitting there next year at this time. It'll be less than 16%, which we all sat here and we all kind of nod our heads on,
Be a lot less.
okay?
Yeah.
So if we were all nodding our heads at 16%, we can bring that down to $20,000, whatever that new number is gonna be, we should all be nodding our heads.
I'm not against it, like I said, don't think I am. I'm just putting out that, me and Eric had a lot of conversations about these reserve funds and how they haven't been filled for many years, and they needed to, the sidewalk one coming for general. Hadn't seen a penny in it in 10 years until we put 15 grand into it last year.
Right.
So when we're doing stuff, we're taking out bonds to repair sidewalks instead of slowly.
Oh, yeah, no,
putting funds into
I'm
building.
100% on the same
I know.
page. So let's move on from this. Let's do this. Who wants $20,000 capital reserve versus 63? I'm in favor of it.
Okay, I'll go ahead and change this so this can be the correct budget.
Change it to what, Will? Tell me. Is that what you said?
There it is.
And 101.
And I'm gonna go ahead and go straight down to the balance. Oops, shot the balance. Wow, we're still. Why isn't that not working? Now it shows that I've got $40,000 surplus. Shouldn't be right.
Well, what do you do? On here, 200,000.
At 20.
Did your 5% rate increase affect that number?
So I dropped that from 545. To 500. That brings it down. 5% rate increase right there. That's 101.
101.
That's correct. We're still seeing 40,000 in the black. Not that that's a bad thing.
No, that'd be good, but I'm sure.
What's that, loan expenses? 40, because that's 48,828, which is,
Yep.
is that in the wrong debit column or? Because that's pretty close to what you're,
No, that's the,
What happens if you put that 101 back the way it was, see what comes out of the bottom after you do that, put it back. It comes out the way you want.
you want to turn it off, start again.
I wouldn't know that.
You missed it.
It was all fine until you changed that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
You had 48,000 in the black on the paperwork.
yeah,
I did.
so. We can.
48,900.
Well, that's coming-
48,824.
If you just come off of what, 60,000? 62,000 minus 20,000, no, that'd be. You should have 40 grand right there if you took out 60 grand. 20 grand out of it. That's 40 grand, and then
Took 43 off of here.
Up 101.
and then you took 40 out of the. Another 101,
Yep,
more than that.
40, so they should have balanced out. For some reason they didn't.
So you're supposed to take your top number,
Bottom number.
bottom number matching what we got right now, 48.
No,
That's a loan expense.
Okay,
So
so now
my
you're at
revenue and
42.
expenses
We
say that
had
I got $42,000 in revenue somewhere. The math isn't
so
coming out.
130. I'm on 130. 24, which is matching.
Okay, your loan expense matches that number.
It's on line 130 though.
Yeah.
Was he at 120?
So then there's another loan expense, 116. So it's 48,824.
So, right, so total expenses plus that is the 750.
Revenue less expenses.
That's 25, yeah, 25 minus sale, 117.
Got 40 grand back in the flood fund. Apparently his number was off. We're back up
Moving
to
it
60
around.
grand in there.
Sure how that's working.
I think their expenses are too low.
Well, too low, Rosemary?
No, maybe not. She had 835 and it's down to what, 750?
So play with this a little bit. 5,500. Huh. Now I'm negative 42.
835 there.
Look at that. I put 40,000 back in and I'm 40,000 low. Instead of 40,000 high, it's 80,000. Something's doing wrong with math.
Is it changing it up top or your top number changing? Is that screwing you up? We changed it with
Well,
the
you know
top?
what, at this point here, it's just a formula error, so leave that at 20, we can fix that tomorrow,
Yeah,
we can see it all day.
Exactly.
You'll find it 3 minutes tomorrow.
I will.
So good. I won't do that. Makes sense to you, Steve?
Yeah, so something's formatting wrong, that's all.
Okay, so your top number you changed,
That's why I stayed on the way shoulder.
the percentage didn't screw it up.
I don't use.
Well, this is just,
I walked away.
Okay, I did see the percentage side, so I didn't know if that
yeah,
was
but it's
screwing
got,
up.
don't see a little teeny tick mark before it, that means there's no math. Yeah. Yep. There's no math there.
Well, what's your number then?
Well, we're gonna say it's a 5, we're gonna be approving the increases and the budget numbers both separately. Or together, I don't care. Total expenses will be 702,035.
$702.
Actually, no, I'm sorry, that's not getting low. 750,859
750,859.
for water, or for wastewater. And water will be 303,106.
And the increases were 19 and 5.
19 and 5.
You want it together or do you want water and wastewater separate?
As long as Donna gets it, doesn't matter to me.
Alright,
I think that 750 is not the right number.
750 is not the right number?
No, you had 835,000 before and you took off 40,000, right?
Yeah, 42.
So that'd be like 790 something.
Yeah, the number was 835, what you're saying, right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So it was 62.5,
Yes, let's do it. You know what? I'm gonna do it on paper.
42.5.
We're gonna do it, we're gonna do the adjustments on paper. Because the paper won't screw up.
Oh, I can screw up paper real good.
Okay.
thank you, Linda. Appreciate you doing
See you later. Have a good week.
Have a good night.
Good
So
on paper.
my calculation says 793, 359.
2.
7,3,359.
But I really have no idea what I'm doing, so. If you take the 835 minus 42.5,
I'm not doing
it's gonna go 62.5, right?
Yeah.
So take 20, it's 42.5. Maybe 793, 359.
Yeah, the only problem with that is. I was going for an even percent, which is good. Should give me like a $2,000 black. So I'm gonna go with that also. So
So,
the formula is messed up, it's really kicking my ass.
right, so the 793, 359 Okay, so the percent increase. So the increase should be over. Last year's actuals, right? No.
That's the only expense you changed, right? It's that one line.
Yeah, 30. I missed this.
Curiosity.
859 minus 44,500. 791, 359. Okay, so how about this for a motion?
How about the number first?
So if the actuals,
The number is for what wastewater, 791, 359.
791 or 793?
I go off 835, 859. And I'd subtract 44,500.
42.5. Cause it was 60.
Oh, it's 42.5. Yes, you're right.
62.5.
Thank you.
So it should be 793, 359.
793, 359.
And, but if last year's actuals were 957 and we're looking at a budget this year of 793.
Yeah,
But part of that's gonna be because of
FEMA.
Reimbursement.
Right.
So we have to go by. Okay, so where does that leave us for percent? Is that still,
So
5%?
it's not giving me an actual percent, so would the board be okay with it? With it being the budget of this, with a increase
Not to exceed,
not to exceed 5%?
yes.
And then I will give the actual increase numbers in the coming days.
So you're talking the 793, not to increase by
Right.
5%.
Right,
So I'll make a motion, we approve a budget for the sewer. Of 793, 359. With a budget increase not to exceed,
rate increase.
rate increase not to exceed 5%.
Correct.
Or
In
wastewater on.
conjunction with a water budget of $303,106. With a rate increase of not to exceed 19%.
Right, yeah,
That
like
makes-
straight 19%. Yep,
Either way it works, right?
it does.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Any more discussion? And this was how much with the reserve back in?
$20,000.
$20,000 reserve.
$20,000.
Did we have any reserve in the water?
No. That's 19%.
See any discussion, chief?
He was looking at numbers, so I was waiting for him to blurt out. He pays it, I don't. You pay it, I don't. He pays it, I don't.
Well, I never like it, but there's.
I understand that. I was waiting for him to.
No, I don't see any way around, there's no cutting.
All right, all in favor?
I,
All in favor?
You did.
I'm gonna go next.
Those opposed?
Aye.
You're opposed?
No,
Okay. Roll call. Steve, how you vote?
in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
BJ? None. Will?
Aye.
Darrell?
Aye.
Jared's nine. Motion passes.
But BJ was the only one.
Only name, yep.
Now you see, I can see the smoke rolling out of the head, looking at that number.
Yep. So,
Okay, so that's that.
Motion adjourned.
10 minutes ago.
So you'll, when you do your actual numbers, you'll email the board, so we know.
yes, I'll let you guys know the finals.
And these are effective,
We have to do a 30-day warrant.
30 day,
Yep, so,
30, not 35, right?
so not this coming billing cycle, but the following.
till the billing cycle in April.
February, March.
March.
March,
Because we got-
the notice will go out in March and it'll be effective.
I mean, we've got April, they, those go out in a couple of days.
And the billing cycle just happened.
And
No, the March bills are
so,
already out.
yeah,
March bills are already out, right?
Yeah,
next week, they read meters.
Right, so the March bills are already out, it's already got mine.
Alright,
So it'll be the April bill, it'll
Right.
go out, so
This
it'll
coming,
be-
this
so
coming
effective
meeting,
April.
right, this coming meeting reading won't happen, but the following will be.
Effective billing cycle in April.
Yep.
Just so Donna can clarify.
Well,
Anything else, everybody? We got?
If it's 30 day, if there's a 30 day notice before it takes effect.
I got one.
Yep, go ahead.
30 days that it isn't being effective. If it's 30 days before it takes effect, it won't be until May before the increase is gonna hit them.
Well, we just have a 30-day warning, so.
That's what I'm saying, is it a 30 day warning saying the bill is gonna be, or is it 30 day warning that that's what's gonna take effect? There's a difference.
That's what's gonna take effect.
So it'll be May.
It's like, well, no, it's 30 days, say, hey,
This is
in a
happening.
month from now, you're getting paid, you're paying more.
So they'll get their increased bill and
Okay.
that's when you'll get your bill. Will show
That's
your increase.
correct, right?
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it.
Good night.
Unlike most people, Dan, you will appreciate it.
Yeah. Tell the guys, thank you.
I don't like very many people.
Diane. You have something?
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry I missed the public,
No problem.
part of the meeting. I read the minutes from last month and I want to ask if you will take back the thing about the rate, the water situation with that whole thing. I would like to ask you to not do what you have done, to undo that part.
What exactly against?
The sending the bill for $1,700 to the volunteer that was doing the ice.
Bill went to the town of Johnson.
Pardon?
The bill went to the town of Johnson. So if the town of Johnson rejects it, then the Water and Lights Commissioner has elected to pass it on to the person that did this. And they approved it.
So you're waiting for the town to pay. And if they don't, then are you sending the bill to the volunteer?
Yeah.
So can you please not do that? If the town doesn't pay for it, then can you please not send it to the volunteer? Volunteers are really important to this town. And I'm asking you not to do that.
So I'm not speaking for the board. But we know volunteers are important to the town, we know, and the village. You know, we understand that. And if you read the minutes or whatever, you saw that this board was full support of that skate rink. So the issue that we have is, it wasn't just a volunteer mishap. That could have been something very serious, Diane. For one, if there was a fire at that time, the water pressure was minimal in that area. They used half of our reserve. And they could have contaminated the water system, it's drinking water. So it was specific, and we gave the minutes out and showed that he was warned to not touch it alone ever again before, and he did it. So in my opinion, I don't think the board should even consider your request because of his actions of violating what he was instructed not to do.
I thought he was trained to do it and
Nope.
was given.
Nope, you were actually on this board when we talked to him. And I went back and got the minutes. Yep, I went back and got the minutes and sent it to the select board chair and vice chair. And showed them because they told us he had permission in 19, which he did from a prior board.
Still going to stick with, please don't do that to the volunteers. I did not mean to do that. I think he just didn't mean to do it, so.
So which part, when he turned the valve open, when he sat there and watched it flow, on a hydrant that he was not supposed to touch, what part of that was by accident?
I don't know, but I think that he thought he must have had permission to use that. So I'll go talk to him. But I think that as a volunteer, he should not be billed for that water usage.
My suggestion, Diane, would be go to the town and beg them to pay it. Because our ratepayer should not, you have to compensate for a guy who was told not to touch the hydrant.
The village people use that rate. So many people use that rate when it was happening.
That has nothing to do with the rank though.
People make mistakes.
Yep.
And I think if the town doesn't pay it, I think We don't send it.
I'd just like to remind you that he was given a chance from the last time because it was a very similar system, not as fast. He spilled the water out into the street, there was ice, that was a big problem. So this is why he was told never to touch it again. So,
to justify Diane's request, is anybody here willing to make a motion to rescind our last decision? I'm not.
I'm not.
I would heed Will's advice, I'd go to the select board and ask them to pay the bill because technically it's a town volunteer. Because he was working, he was working with the town committees at the time. So, how about we play it out and let's see where it goes, you know? But I don't foresee us taking up any different action than what we've ordered Eric to do. Thanks, Dan.
Okay, guys, before we go, going back on the website, I forgot. At the bottom of the trustee page, I want to do a dedication to past trustees. And I'm willing to, once it goes online and everything, start putting the effort into figuring all that stuff out. But from this point on, once we have our website, I'd like to have trustees that are active and then a dedication page for all the trustees that have put time and effort into doing
That's
this.
a good idea.
Not opposed.
History's good.
It's the money amount of it.
Perfect.
And you can put like, you're like, look anyway, you go look back through there.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of research.
He's got a year, right?
All right, we're adjourned.
Here.
You got a year.
30.